Hey there and welcome to Timberborn 1.0. Let's go and start a nice beginner-friendly town for our little beavers. So let's start a new game. We are going to play as the Folktails. Easygoing but hardworking. Folktails are expert farmers. They respect nature and it rewards them with plentiful bounties. Their motto, comfort, food and sturdy wood. Well, we do appreciate that though. Let's go for the waterfalls because it is nice separating the bad water, but it's close enough that we can actually do something about it too later on. And yeah, it looks like a very nice map for first colony. We are going to not activate the tutorial right there. Let's call our colony Avalonia, because it's a nice little beginning. Now, we do want to get rid of this, but we do want to have some road access towards it. Later on, we will destroy this path or maybe create even a tiny bridge so we have something close by. But we want to keep as much green pastures as we can, because if we don't do that, though, we will lose a lot of fertile land, and we want to avoid that, of course. Now, our first episode is going to be about creating, you know, like water, food, and wood resources. I think that's a very good focus to start with. Now, cut trees right here to the left. We can then select all the wood that we want to cut down, which is really, really good. And of course, we want to cut down that too. But before we can actually do that, we want to build, there it is, wood, a lumberjack flag. Very important. Let's build 2 of them. We can turn the building around with R. And then we want to store the wood too. For that, we are going to the storage. And then we are going to go for the large pile of wood. Let's just put it there. Later on, we can change this around a little bit though. So it's not too much of a big deal. Now, we kind of want to extend this one as soon as possible though, right? You know, because the water from here is going in this little reservoir, which I find very important because it extends all the green over there. And that means that we can just adjust our farmland and our housing later on too. It's going to be very important. Now, we don't want hungry beavers now, do we? So there's some berries around here. And as you can see, there's a gatherer flag here too. Let's just put this one right over there. I know it's in the green, but we will change all of that later on. And over here, we want to place the logs at our large pile, so we know what gets stored there and the beavers can actually start working. All right, 100% demolition priority. Let's put it actually on 2 over here. As you can see, it extends. Oh, there we go, though. Now, that is a whole lot of fertile land, though, extra. And we kind of want to take use for that, so let's go start over here. Take a little bit of the greenery away, but that's unavoidable at this point. Just for future planning, we are going to go that away too. All right, so we can reach that also. Now, we have a lot of land, which is awesome, but right now we do need another priority. And I would say that is water. We could cut some berries down here, or we could just draw one line like that. And then slowly we can make room for future expansions. This one will be taken out. And let's go to the water and put the pump right around here. We kind of want to be quick about this too, by the way, because droughts are very, very bad for us. And especially for our little creatures. Now, we also want to store the water somewhere. So we kind of can put it close to here. Or we can put it a little bit further away. But for visual identification, I kind of like to keep them rather close together. So we're going to the storage. And I want to have 3 on a minimum. And then there is another one going to be. Let's extend the road a little bit with another path. Then click on demolition buildings. Then mark resources for demolition. And we are going to clean this little part out. So we have now already our resources for woods, as you can see. That we can have logs stored for future buildings. And we already have water and we have food. Technically, this is the first loop that you want to create, though. It's going to be very, very important. But the issue about it is, though, right, you know, this is not going to be enough for a very long time. So we are going to build a nice little basic farm right here to the right side. And to be fair with you, all of this could be our wood sector. Of forest. And all of this could be our Yeah, let's just do that. That's a good idea though. All of this will be farmland. I like that idea. Well, probably not all of it, but you know what I mean. Let's put this one over there. And then I want to have another one over here later on, and then another one over there. You know how it goes, right? You know, it's very important. We also want to click on our water storages right over there and select actually water, so it can be stored nicely down the line. Now we have extra room there, as you can see, for another one of these, for another small tank. And let's place it down. Now, as you can see, there's already one beaver that is thirsty. So he's going to go right over here or there. And then he has his water if he's smart. Or unless there is not somebody walking here. Also, workplace priority, at least for one water place, though, you want to actually increase it by just slightly. Workplace priority is, let's say, 1 up instead of double. Because if it's double, there is no balanced by going back and forth. And that is a big shame later down the line, though, believe it or not. Now, our beavers are still homeless. That is going to be fixed too. Now, our farm is going to be built in a little bit. So we are going to stretch this all the way. I would say it would be nice to actually have a big line of 10. But we have 9 for one nice block. I would say this is a lot of carrots though. And I think our beavers are going to be very, very happy with that. Now we are going to wait for that farm to be built, and then we can have the farmer beavers to fix all of the field, what is now great, because our menu is open, to actually seed it full with future food, in this case carrots. Now our little beavers are nicely at work right over there, as you can see here on the field. Very nice though. Our little farmers are really hard at work, as you can see. I'm loving that. Now we also want to have some storage though before anything goes bad. So we are going to place a medium warehouse nicely around. Let's see if we have the corner right there. Yes, nicely around there. It's not a bad place to be at, but technically, if we are going to move it just ever so slightly to another side, the medium warehouse, instead of being precise on the corner, we're going to move it 1 to the right of it, because then we can have a nice little staircase moving up, right? You know, so we can actually stack these later on. I do find that very, very good though, and I do love it. We also want to start science as soon as possible, because we have to unlock something. And after the storage, this one will be built right around, yeah, I would say right around there. Kind of want to have one line in between for later, some paths and other things though, right? You know, it's going to be important that we keep extending. This later on can be filled with water too. I'm very excited about that, but that are all very big plans for the future, of course. Now we have to stay in the present and to keep our first actually loop steady and going. Which now actually is. Now let's see how it actually goes in a little second though. Now just between you and me, we do want 2 of these storages, by the way. We want to have 1 for the berries. And then we want to have 1 more for the carrots for now. And I do like to make them actually, you know, like 2 wide, and then we can build up. And over here we want to have the carrots. Oh yeah. Very important though that we do store them too, especially with a big field like that. We want to have more later on, but everything has its own time though, huh? Now the water is not really pumping out enough water though to actually fill these up plenty quick. So that is something that we will have to fix later on. But this loop is all about establishing your, well, your moment though, right? You know, your starter where you can build up from. Nice. Science is up. Let's put that priority up by 1 little bit. Now, do we need this one as 2? Not really though, so 1 is going to go away. We just wanted to have as much food as possible from the beginning by one of the gathering flags for the berries though. So delete 1 after. You don't really lose anything except a whole storage of food a little bit sooner than normal. Alright. That one is almost being built. I have to say though, this already starts to look like a decent colony, doesn't it? Nice little bit of information. Every 4 days, one of these patches create 3 carrots. Alright? So if you keep that in mind though, you can actually plan ahead for hunger, but also be aware that in the top left over here, You see your food. Now it's food, right? You know, with the carrot symbol. Below that are berries, 83. Now you have to think about your own little calculation between the beavers that you do have and the food that you have in store. Beavers eat a bit though, but they don't snack everything away. So don't worry too much there. Now, this is our first loop. I'm very happy about it. We have a water resource. We have forestry, right? You know, for big timber and all. We have a farm. We have berries. We have a carrot field. And we do have a science building. Because every, well, one say half a minute, maybe every 30 seconds we get one science. We have now 17. We do need a lot though, because we want to unlock the forester. So it plants trees and bushes. Very important though. Don't skip this, because you might run out of wood. All right, might is the key, because sometimes it just regrow. So keep that in mind. All right, keep that in mind. And well, happy building. See you in the next one.